All right, today for you guys in this video, I've got a bunch of books I've been picking up from all over the place. Auctions, online, eBay, Comic-Cons, and a buddy of mine who's been getting rid of a bunch of fantastic books so he can start upgrading. So let's get through it. And I almost forgot to mention because this is like the hook. I picked up an amazing Grail that I never thought I would own. So please watch till the end of the video because that'll be the big reveal at the end. We got to wait for the big cheese at the end. The big cheese. Is that really a thing people say? Is anybody under the age of 50 going to know what that means? Doesn't really matter. You know what it means. Hello and welcome to Swarm of Comics. I'm Randy, your handsome and humble host. And as I mentioned about 19 seconds ago at the beginning of the video, I'm going to go through a bunch of books, just show them to you, give you a little background on why I picked them up, why they're important to me, or why they're important in general. Just it's good, fun stuff. You get to see what I picked up, get a little insight into why I'm adding these to my collection, besides just crippling spending addiction. Um, and also, I'm going to get to them quick. I'm going to be quicker. I love the feedback from people, friends, people watch comments. They like the shorter, quicker videos. I know sometimes I tend to ramble, but that's me. That's how I am. So let's fly through these. I've got a little stack of raw books. So let's start with that. Let's start with the little raw books here. All right, stick with me. Go find him on Instagram. His name is Matt, and he does Shattered comics. I just call him Matt Shattered. I've shown you one of his books before. It was a reprint of a Star Wars book, and he does these covers and almost like a mosaic. I had it signed. I had a JSA signature approved, and I have that graded in my collection. He does these gigantic, massive comic, baseball card, whatever themed um, mosaics. They're like 4 feet tall, 3 feet wide, and breaks up all the pieces of tile or pottery and puts them all together so it reenacts. You'll see it. I'll just show it to you. This is his newest one. It's a foil cover of X-Men #1 from 1991, and as you can see, it's signed down there in white. That's his initials in a little squiggle. Unfortunately, there's a ding in the book, so I won't get a 9.8. So I don't know if I'm going to submit this one for grading. I might just ask him and beg him for another one. But it's a foil cover, as you can see, it's shiny. And he redraws these covers on these reprints in the style that he makes the actual um, uh, big giant display pieces. What I'll do is I'll put a couple up on the screen here, a couple of really cool ones, including a Chamber of Chills that would love to get in front of Danzig and Doyle and the Misfits. If anybody has any connections, help them out. So that's the first one. Matt Shatter did that. Go find him on Instagram if you're not already friends with him. Go find him at a Comic-Con. Awesome, awesome dude. This next one I picked up in an auction. It went fairly cheap, and I'm not a huge fan. Have you heard me talk about it before? But I thought this was a clean book, and it is an issue of Venom, #6 from I think 2017. I don't really know. Yeah, 2017. But it's signed by the cover artist, Todd Knock. I think that's how you say it. Nauck. Todd Knock, which is obviously an ode to Amazing Spider-Man 300 and 301, but with Venom. So this was a variant cover. Picked it up at an auction pretty cheap, and I'm going to definitely get this graded with the JSA. Oh, look at this. I didn't even realize this. I didn't even look on the back of it. It's got a pedigree certificate. I don't know how the words work. That's cool. I don't know why I didn't notice that. But going to get that submitted. You hear me talk about submitting. I hope you know what that is by now from watching my videos. But when you submit them to CGC, they're a grading company, just like the ones you see behind me. And they have a division where they will also certify signatures. I don't think they're always accurate, but hopefully with this certificate of authenticity, it will be, and it'll be graded. And it also a cool yellow label that says it's certified. All right, these next two, if you've watched my videos or you've seen my t-shirts, even my last videos not too long ago with Bronze Age Bill in there, I picked up a copy of a different issue with this, but this is Black Cat number 9 and Black Cat number 3. Black Cat number 3 is beat to death. I got it for a steal because I talked him down. I actually might have even bought this from Matt Shattered from Shattered Comics because this is took such a beating. Um, but it's number 3 of Black Cat. So I love that. I love this one, number 9. This one's in much better shape. This is in really good shape. So adding to my Black Cat collection. I'm definitely still not trying to do a run of it. Lee Elias cover on there. You know, good girl art from back in the day. So I will get them both submitted. Although, let's just say it now. I think this yellow one, I think number 9, maybe if I get it pressed, it could come in at like 3.5, 4. The other one's probably going to come in at a 1.8 or a 2 if I'm lucky. Sometimes you get a little grace if the book is older. Now, I mentioned earlier in the intro video that a friend of mine has been selling parts of his collection. He's been basically getting rid of lower-ended stuff in his collection so he can start buying big, big boy books. Because when you see this, you're going to say, well, that's kind of a big boy book. So him and I have been hanging out. We just went to a Comic-Con. This one's in okay shape. It's got a little bit of a tear, a hole on the cover, but it was a pretty good enough price that I thought it was worth getting and then getting graded because I don't have this. I only have issue number 3 of this series. So here it is, the Silver Surfer number 1. Now I just need number 4. I just haven't been able to pull that trigger yet, but that is not the big surprise Grail at the end of the video. So Silver Surfer number 1, as you can see, it's kind of has a hole right here. This is a square bound book. It's in a little bit rough shape on the spine. I'm hoping this comes in at a 4. With that hole, it might not be able to come in higher than a certain grade, maybe a 3.5 or 4, but it was worth having. It's worth getting graded. It's a cool Silver Age key. All right. So we got through the raw books. Now let's see. Let's get through some graded books here before we get to the big reveals. My friend Comic Carl, that's what I call him, just because all my friends that have anything to do with comics, I just put comic before their name. My buddy that does my pressing and submitting, Comic Tom, hey Tom, Comic Carl, Comic Ollie, Comic Dan, they're all just comic before them. I won't even tell you what their nickname is for me, but that's what I give for them. Uh, Again, Carl has been getting rid of a lot of stuff that wasn't important to him in his collection, and this was one that I definitely wanted to pick up. This is some pre-code. I wouldn't call it horror. Maybe it's horror, but I wasn't familiar with this book. And it comes in at a 5.0, but it presents really well. I'm not sure why it's a 5.0. Maybe it's the back or something like that. But this is a beautiful painted cover. Is this painted or gray tones? No, that's definitely a painted cover. Weird Adventures number 10 from Ziff Davis, who was the publisher, 1951. And it is it says only issue. Now, it says only issue because it might have had a different title. A lot of times what comic publishers would do back in the day is that they would change based on trends. So I showed you those Black Cats earlier. That eventually, when horror comics started becoming all the rage with EC Comics, that suddenly became Black Cat Mystery Comics, and by the time it changed to that, Black Cat was in it for like one page of one issue, and then we never saw her again, and it was all just gory horror comics that are worth way more than the Black Cat ones, but I like these ones better. So this might have been a different title. I'd have to do some research on that. I just picked it up, so I haven't done it. So maybe it changed its title when there was this horror trend was coming on, and they changed it to this, and then it got canceled. So issues 1 through 9 might be a completely different book. If I find out that information, I will try to put it up on the screen right here. Also, later when I go to edit this, I might forget, not see this, and then I'll be doing this, and there's going to be nothing there. So great pickup from Comic Carl. I mean, that's a 5.0. Look at the gloss on that cover. That's a beautiful 5.0. Beautiful. This is another one that was just too good to pass up. I'm not a big collector of this. It is not a key book whatsoever, but it is a Silver Age book and a high grade, and I don't know how you turn this down. So this is definitely an old book. So look at how thin that CGC case is. Normally they're like, oh, I could probably show you this one. You could see that they're drastically different. Hopefully you can see. So this is Tales to Astonish 95, 1967. This is when the Hulk and the Submariner were in the same book. It's an 8.5. Still probably only worth like 75 or 90 bucks. You'd think a Silver Age book with the Hulk from 67 and an 8.5 would be worth more, but it's not. But how I couldn't pass that up for the price. That's an excellent Silver Age pickup. All right, what else do we have here? This is another one. I actually bid on a copy of this not that long ago, and I did not win, or I didn't win because I didn't want to spend as much money as it was going for. This is True 3D number 1. Came with 3D glasses. The glasses are included, and this is from Harvey Publications. It's a 9.6, and it's such a high grade because this is a file copy. You know, when Harvey would print up their comic books, all these companies did that. They would keep copies to keep in their files. Sometimes they put them in square-bound editions and like 3-ring binders. So going forward, new artists or new writers could go back and look at the history of it. But some of them just went in, they decided to keep a copy of it. So this is True 3D with the glasses from Harvey Publications in 1953. 53. 2 pairs of 3D glasses. So like you could look at it in 3D with me. 9.6. Fantastic book. Harvey famous name comics are loved by millions. Just to find a book in that condition from 1953 is just unbelievable. So that was a great pickup. Again, an old case. These are older ones. Beautiful book. Thanks, Carl. And this next one was, I couldn't pass it up because I don't think it's because Bronze Age horror is starting to get super hot, but again, the grade of this, and plus it also has Steve Ditko art. I think he even did the cover. But this is from 1975. This is beyond. I see you guys like I'm staring at it because I'm absorbing, and I forget I should probably be showing you. This is Beyond the Grave number 3. And when my brother Bill and I were kids, we even talk about another video. We used to get these little Ripley's Believe It or Not digest comics that we get like yard sales. We'd get Ghostly Tales, Baron Werewolves, Hunted Tales, any of these cheap off-brand horror comics when horror comics came back into style in the 70s and the Comics Code eased up its restrictions. So this is Beyond the Grave. I have another one that I think has a devil cover. So this is a 9.6 in this book from 1975. Does anybody care? Is it worth anything? Probably not, but I liked it from Charlton. That was a fun one. All right. So I picked those up from Carl. Thank you, buddy. Probably still owe him money on that. Hope he doesn't remember. So while I was at the con, I showed you some of those raw books, but I picked up a couple of graded books. So this was the first one. I also picked this one up from Matt, Shattered at Shattered Comics. And again, pretty good presenting for the grade that it is. I know it's got a little writing on it. It's got a little chip out of it, but this is Flash Comics from 1945, number 66. I love the Flash comics. I'm not a huge collector, but I love the kitsch. I love this classic look, the full banner across the top, the full title. And they're not super expensive. There's not a ton of keys. The early ones are expensive, but you can pick up a Golden Age book in this 2.5 and look beautiful and not spend a lot of money. So this was awesome. So thanks, Matt. Thanks, buddy. That was a good pickup. And then I was at another booth. It was the Buckley Brothers. And I actually am going to try and cut the video here and include me talking to the Buckley Brothers. We'll see how my editing skills go. But I took a little, and my filming skills went on my phone as I picked this book up from them. So why don't we go to that video now and hope that I remember to edit it in later. I probably need an editor here. So let's go to the Little Giant Comic-Con. I think it's called Old School Comic-Con up in Concord, New Hampshire. That just happened back in April of 2025. And this was me picking up a fantastic book from some awesome fun guys that I had a great time talking to, the Bucky Brothers. I said Buckley earlier, but that's because my brain is mush. But it's actually the Bucky Brothers. Boy, I hope they don't see this. Check that video out now.
I'm here at the what is this con? Little Giant Old School Comic Con. I'm here with Kenny in his booth, and I just found this Phantom 9.8 right here, and lowballed them for actual real printed money. So I'll talk about this one a little bit more in my videos later, but I just wanted to get a little footage now. Thanks,
Cool.
bud. Nice to meet you guys.
All right, wasn't that fun? That was an amazing video. It's probably terrible. But I saw this. They made a mistake. They messed up. They made a mistake. I went into there. They had a kind of a smaller booth for big boy books up in the wall books. They had a lot of books in bins. And this one book happened to catch my eye. There's a lot of good stuff at these cons, and I want to buy it all, but I can't. But I saw this out of the corner of my eye, and it pulled me right in. So I go into this little tiny small booth, not even the size of my like half the size of my room here. And I saw this, and I said to the guy, one of the Bucky brothers there, I said, that cover is amazing. Like it made me go into their booth to see it. And he said to me, everybody tells me that. Everybody comes in and looks at this book and tells me they love the cover. And this is where he messed up. He said, and I've been dragging this book around for like 6 years, and everybody loves the cover, but nobody buys it. Well, you know, old Randy here had to try and negotiate the best price on it. So I'll show you the book first. It is The Phantom. So it is The Phantom issue 372, and this is an Australian comic. It is actually, and it's a 9.8. A 9.8, and this is no date, but my best guess from looking for research is that it might be 1960s, 66 to 67. That is my best guess. And how dramatic and amazing is that cover? And when looking through the cover galleries for these Phantoms, the Australian Phantoms, so apparently the Phantom is huge in Australia. They love the Phantom in Australia. I used to read it in newspaper strips when I was a kid. And all the covers are actually beautiful. They do amazing covers. So I picked this up. Looks beautiful. Life-size picture of the Phantom in full color signed. So apparently you could send away for that. Thank goodness they didn't cut that out because this is still a 9.8. It's probably newsprint. It's probably black and white inside. They used to do their comics really cheap. I had another comic from Australia I unboxed a while ago that I got great. It was The Masked Marvel, and it was like 9 pages long because I think they put these out weekly. That's how, like 372. So I think they would put them out weekly or bi-weekly or something like that. So this, I couldn't pass this up. We came to an agreement on a really good price that I was happy with. I think they made some money on it because it's hard to know. This is the only one on the census. This is the only one graded in the world from CGC anyway. So how do you decide what the price is? The price is what I'm comfortable with and what they settled on. Even if I overpaid for it, I don't care. That is just gorgeous. So we got through the stuff from Carl, the stuff from Cons. Now we're going to get into a couple of nice books here. So I won these in an auction. Let's get a little bit of this bubble wrap off. And these are a little weird. I'm going to be honest with you. Things are about to get weird. All right. Let's get the bubble wrap off. Let's get them out of the box. Well, the first one's not weird. The first one's cool. You've seen me with other different books from this character before. This Golden Age stuff. Actually, like a Platinum Age, maybe even Hero. So here we go. This is Famous Funnies number 82 from 1941. This case feels shaky. We'll see. It's a lower grade, 3.5, but this is Famous Funnies 82 with Buck Rogers. And if you watch the video, another video of mine, I got a Buck Rogers number 1 in a restored like 5 or something like that. And I dig these. I have a Buck Rogers copy of Famous Funnies. I think it's 215 with the Frank Frazetta cover. So I just pick these up when I can. But this is just fantastic. 1941. So old stuff, cool cover. Don't know who did the art. Doesn't even say. Eastern. It's probably not even any credit. Back then, I don't even think they gave artists or anything like that credit. So that was a great pickup. Old Famous Funnies. When Famous Funnies stopped being funny, again, I talked about earlier about trends changing. Famous Funnies used to be probably funny and goofy kid stuff, and then once all the sci-fi became, and Buck Rogers stuff started becoming popular, it turned into that. And Then they all disappeared when they became horror comics. This is another one I picked up because it was a high grade, and sometimes I just like weird books, and this was a weird book. It actually doesn't even look as good as its condition. I would never get this like cracked and resubmitted because I don't think it would ever get this grade again. But this is from 1943, and this is from a book called Dixie Dugan. I almost guarantee you've never heard of Dixie Dugan. Some of you might have heard of Dixie Dugan. 1943 from Columbia. That's the company that published it. And it says, Dixie, doesn't an admiral's uniform mean anything to you? So this little nerd here is an admiral and not getting the attention from a woman because apparently he thinks that if you're in a place of important power, women should just fall at your feet. Maybe this was a lesson in sexism from back from 1943. So how could I not pick up a 6.5 of Dixie Dugan #3? Um, Also an advertisement for Sparky Watts on the back. So those are my kind of weird pickups. All right, blazing through this, guys. I know it seems like I'm talking a lot, but this is short for me. Give me a little credit here. Give me a little credit in the comments. Say, yeah, Randy, you get credit. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all those things. So here we go. Big Boy Grail. This is it. This is the one you've all been waiting through. You sat through all that boring stuff to get to this one. Ah, you've seen me pick up and unbox 3 other issues of this book. One of them I had graded myself. The other 2 I bought already graded. Issues 2, 3, and 4. I probably should have like put them out behind me and then like gone over and walked over and put issue #1 there next to them to like fill it up. But in the next video, maybe you'll see it there behind me in there. So I recently had been out back shooting varmints and shooting food, and I hit some bubbling crude, and then up from the ground, that's a Beverly Hillbillies reference, to say that I had some money and I wanted to spend it. Boy, I'm gonna edit that out. Anyway, back from that awkward edit, um, I decided to sink some money into a Grail that I wanted. I just wanted to do it. Pull the trigger. Prices have been coming down. Not cheap, but prices have been coming down. Bubble wrap. Can you tell I'm like nervous? That's what I do when I'm nervous. I'm like babbling. So let's just get this down here. Let's get it out of its bag. I picked this up on eBay, maybe? eBay. And it even looks like it could be cleaned up. I bet with a press, this could come in at a better grade. So here it is. The big reveal that you've all been waiting for. And you're all going to be so happy for me when you see it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, second print. Not first print, because I don't know who can afford a first print, but here it is. Second print and a 7.5. Looks pretty good. You're not going to see it with the lights, but I definitely think it could use a press. I don't know how old this case is. I don't know whether it could get a pressing and get a better grade. I bet we could get up this. Like I could probably, oh yeah, so you can kind of see there. That's kind of beat up. I bet I could pay somebody to get this cracked and resubmitted, get out these dings, flatten this out and press this, and maybe get it up to say an 8 or an 8.5. I'd have to see if that was worth doing. So here it is, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, and now I've completed having issues 1 through 4. 1984, this came out in Dover, New Hampshire, 3,000 copies of issue 1, first print. They reprinted it quickly to second print, I think 3,000 issues, and then 3,000 copies. And then third print was like 30,000. And if you watch the video with my buddy Rich and I, he had bought the books back in 1984. He had issues 1, 3, 4, and the Raphael book. And he had bought those, but it was third print, but still awesome. We got those graded and they came in pretty good. So this is it. Added to my collection. Another big key, probably one of the biggest bronze in modern age. Modern age, is that what we want to call it? Sure. Modern age Grails, Copper Age, whatever we want to call it. So there, I can't stop looking at it. I'm trying to look at the camera, but I'm trying not to look at this. Of course, when I was a kid, my brother Bronze Age Bill and I, we were huge into Daredevil and was fighting ninjas and Frank Miller. And of course, that's completely what influenced this book. So this was also, as far as I remember, it was only supposed to be one issue. Shredder's, and this is the villain. Yeah. And he dies at the end. Spoiler if you haven't read it since 1984. So, but of course, it continued on. I don't think they knew what they were getting into when they put this out. So, this is it. I'm so excited. Hope you guys are excited for me. Comment, like, subscribe, do all those things. But comment, let me know if you love Ninja Turtles, if you have Ninja Turtles books, if you have this, if you have a first print, because we could become good friends. I'd like to be friends with you. So, all right, my hand hurts from holding this up. I'm tired. Thank you for joining me here on Swarm Comics. Watch my other videos. Go check everything out. Hope you had fun. Thanks for joining me. Bye.